Vice News accuses Jagdeo of taking bribes. National athlete hospitalized after car accident. $660 million approved for legal fees in border case at the ICJ. And cronyism in Guyana. Fake democracy in action. I am Noriko Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Jagdeo is currently on the defensive after one Vice News reporter accused him of taking bribes. In a February 1st interview, the reporter based her questions on allegations that were reportedly made by Chinese businessmen and lobbyists. Jagdeo profusely denied the allegations, although he admitted to knowing the businessman, identified as a Mr. Su. Mr. Su claims what many of us have already suspected. When it comes to business in Guyana, you gotta pay to play. He also claimed that there is a whole network in place to make sure that Jagdeo's people get a cut of whatever's coming through. While he did not deny the possible existence of corrupt individuals in his government, Jagdeo vehemently denied taking any bribes himself. He also claimed that they, Vice News, just want to make him and Guyana look bad. He also said that the coalition has already ran through his bank account and supposedly found no evidence of corruption. However, PNC leader Aubrey Norton says he does not know of any such probe ever being conducted. In fact, he's currently calling on the GPF to investigate the claims of corruption against Jagdeo. He may be calling the GPF, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to pick up the phone. National volleyball player Christoph Shepard and national table tennis champion and Olympian Chelsea Edgell are among 3 persons injured in an accident on Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, on Monday night. According to reports, the truck driver, 31-year-old Omkar Pertab, was approaching the intersection of Mandela and Homestretch Avenue, whilst Shepard drove his vehicle out into the intersection from Homestretch. As a result, the truck collided into the side of the car. Edgell and Lewis were treated for minor abrasions and discharged from the hospital, while Shepard was admitted in a serious condition with severe head injuries. Meanwhile, the driver of the truck was served the notice of intended prosecution. Charles Ramson Sr. has been reappointed to the position of Commissioner of Information. He was dismissed from the post in 2017 by the coalition government. Gail Teixeira made the revelation on Monday as what could basically be considered an offhanded comment. She said the $14 million allocated in the budget this year is for his salary last year plus this year's total of $23 million. The remaining $17 million will go directly towards the office, although Teixeira did not disclose the location of Ramson's office. On Monday, the Georgetown City Council approved the $2 billion budget for 2022. According to the council, the allocated sums will focus on public health and the city engineer as well as solid waste departments. It also seeks to improve all areas of expenditure as well as create new revenue streams for the capital city. Last month, Mayor Narayan said that while the council's budget is some $2.6 billion, much more is needed to effectively run the city. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this 2014 Audi Q3. It comes with Bluetooth, mag rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, electronic parking brake, park camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $5.6 million. I'll pay it down as low as $1,120,000 down, with around $108,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Bidoroshi, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lama Street, until America sent you for this sweet deal. On Friday, 64-year-old labourer Omrawa Shamlal died after falling from a house at Yorkshire Hall, Drill, Myconey. On the day in question, Shamlal was working with the team on the roof of the home, which was still under construction, when he fell from the roof. Shamlal was taken to the Myconey Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. But my only question is, Shamlal is 64 years old. What is an old man doing in construction and on top of roofs? I mean, come on, this makes absolutely no sense. Anyway, unfortunately, he wasn't the only fatal fall as of recent. Yesterday afternoon, 28-year-old carpenter Ramesh Ramphal died after he reportedly backflipped into a canal at Tempeh village, West Coast Berbice. According to reports, Ramphal and his girlfriend were swimming in the canal when Ramphal walked over to the eastern side, backflipped, and then never resurfaced. She informed his relatives to help find his body. Ramphal's body was found about an hour later, stuck in the mud at the bottom of the trench. Contrary to what Lennox Schumann said a couple days ago, there will be no meeting of the National Two Shows Council this year. According to Indigenous Affairs Minister Caroline Sukai, this year's meeting is cancelled, as many of the Tushars refused to get the vaccine. She also revealed that no budgetary allocations have been made for the annual meet. She said it will be postponed until we return to some sort of normalcy in this nation. But honestly, this is Guyana. What is normalcy anyway? Am I right? Take a look at this beauty being constructed in a gated community called Richmondville in Guyana. It features 4 bedrooms, 1 pool with 7,000 square feet of living space, along with modern amenities. Contact Sheriff Construction on 592-618-5702. The government has allocated $660 million in the 2022 national budget to cover legal fees associated with the Guyana-Venezuela border case at the ICJ. Minister of Foreign Affairs Hugh Todd revealed this in Parliament last night as he responded to questions from the opposition. Todd revealed no other details on the case and Guyana's legal team, only that the funds were already approved by the Committee of Supply. It's now time for today's Runner Report. Today, the nation recorded 118 new cases. There are now 1,185 persons dead, 16 in the ICU, 4,055 in home isolation. And the total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 61,734. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? Cronyism. And nepotism, for that fact. The PPP and the PNC claim to be political parties, but they are just a group of friends sharing out our nation's assets amongst their friends and family. Charles Ramsden Sr. getting his old job back is just the latest example of such. Though he's the Commissioner of Information, many journalists would argue that his agency did more to limit the flow of information than to encourage it. And despite this fact, he takes home a multi-million-dollar salary while very little is asked of him in return. And I don't believe that it's a coincidence that his son, Charles Ramsden Jr., is a government minister. However, the Ramsdens aren't the only political dynasty being bankrolled with our nation's taxpayer dollars. One Edgell, 2 of his sons, and another male relative all hold positions within the government. But that's not all. Much of the nonsense coming out of the Guyana Police Force's communications unit is the direct responsibility of failed internet cable installer Mark Ramatar, the son of former President Donald Ramatar. And if I remember correctly, Ramatar's daughter was also the head of the Guyana Coal Board before the coalition dismissed her and accused her of corruption. Speaking of the coalition, they too treat this nation like it's a family affair, but that's a whole nother episode altogether. But what I'm trying to explain is that in a properly run democracy, government officials are not hired by virtue of their relation or friendship to those in power. They are selected through their merits and their abilities to get the job done. But if we continue to elect the same set of people who will only hire their own friends and family, then we're not living in a democracy. It honestly sounds like some sort of weird elected monarchy. It's even worse when you consider the fact that our political system basically gives the president the powers of a king. All of that is to say that if you really want things to change, you'll have to change how you vote. Support a party aside from the PPP or the PNC, even if they'll split the vote and they don't even win. Because voting for the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is pretty stupid. Don't fall for these get-rich-quick schemes, people. There is a legit way you can earn some extra money to supplement your current hustle. Sell Top-Up. You could become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So, we ask the question, and you give your responses in the comments. Tracy says, it's stupid that the Guyanese government didn't put the responsibility of a possible oil spill on ExxonMobil. Clearly, in addition to the profits ExxonMobil estimated, they also calculated the collective IQ of this government and concluded it's very low. Ha ha! I just love that one, Tracy. Good one. Donraj Mohan says, government, please, 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 let ExxonMobil take responsibility if any oil is spilled. Redo the contract now and stop pollution now and flaring, because it creates a negative effect on the global economy. Safety is the #1 priority. ExxonMobil also needs to pay the taxes and help the fishing industry. I agree. And finally, Mohammed Sharif says, the fact is, if Exxon can pass expenses and go unaudited to this government, then the government is doing the same to the people. Indeed, they're just passing the expenses on. So for tonight's question, Should politicians be banned from hiring their family and friends for jobs within the government, or should there be a cap on what types of jobs they can actually take on? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.